Keep trekking is not just a channel, it's an adventure. So get your boots on and come with us. It's worth the journey. Experience your local landscape. Breathe the air this ancient land has to give us. So let's go. Here at Nostall Priory, you are greeted by daffodils, tulips, magenta cyclamen, hyacinths and roses, amongst other wonderful plants and flowers. In front of the pavilion there's a beautiful bronze statue where you can chuck money in to make a wish. Once leaving the rose garden, you will come into the kitchen garden, where you'll see rhubarb, giant onions, banana palms and many more vegetables and fruit being grown. The original blueprint for the garden was by a Stephen Switzer of 1731, and the new garden that you see in front of you today was based on this original blueprint. As you look round, you'll see all different types of fruit and vegetables. The garden is really lovely and is maintained by a regular gardener on a daily basis. And as you can see, on our visit to this beautiful gardens on this gorgeous day, made everything look extra special and more beautiful. At the very top of the kitchen garden there's a beautiful flower bed of different colours and different flowers to greet the eye and lift the spirits. It's always nice to see flowers in bloom at this time of year. It's very special. It's also nice to see the bees back after such a long absence and not seeing many in recent years. Around the park there's different walks, but today I'm choosing to do the Lakeside Walk. It's a beautiful walk along the riverbank and the lakes, and a beautiful trip around the grounds. It's always worth coming. It's a beautiful trees, different flowers and obviously wildlife. Gorgeous view back of the house. A quick glimpse through the trees to Nostall Bridge, which I shall come to shortly. As we look at the back of the house, there's a beautiful lawn where you can have picnics on these hot summer days. As you walk around the park, you'll see all different types of wildlife, including geese, ducks and swans. Now I continue walking through the parkland to look up to the sky through the green trees towards the lakes. I soon came across a nice stone outcrop where would be a nice place to sit in deep thought and contemplation. Next on my bit of walk, I came across the Druids Bridge, now close to walkers. It was built in the 16th century but collapsed many years ago, but was recently rediscovered and restored. As I pan round the lower lake at Nostall, you can see it is not crystal as it once was, but still beautiful nonetheless. Now at the middle lake, which as you can see is slightly different from the lower lake as it is more bluer in colour. This lake runs into a waterfall, but on this day, as you can see, isn't running, which is a great shame because I would like to have seen the water flow over and the beautiful sound it makes as it hits the river below. As I move further around the park, there's beautiful red blossom trees in abundance that makes the colours and the place truly magical to the eye and lifts the spirits of the heart. And as we move into the Menagerie Gardens, you take a look at Nostall Bridge. It's an 18th century Grade 2 listed building. It was hit by a car in 2022 and had to go under serious repair. Next on our walk, as we go through the Gothic archway into the beautiful gardens, which was created in 1743 by Robert Adam. The gardens was originally an old quarry by the medieval period. Robert Adam changed the garden to this beautiful garden you see in front of us today. In its day, it held monkeys, colourful different types of birds, and a famous lioness. He truly was a visionary, and making this place truly spectacular, unique for its time. As we look towards the Menagerie house, where the keeper used to live and use the house for entertainment, unfortunately this beautiful building is no longer in use and it is abandoned. As we look at the front of the house, it almost looks mythical and truly fits into its surroundings. I can imagine real spiritual meaning to this place. It truly has a deeper thought. As we move back closer to the house, you can see the geese do love to play, but be careful around geese when they have babies. They may not be always so kind. After leaving the gardens, we come out at the stables. This stables was built in 4 ranges by Robert Adams and James Pritchett. As you can see, the hot of the day brings the moon out as well. The courtyard's West Ranges was built by Robert Adams in 1770 to 1776. The East Ranges by James Pritchett and Charles Watson of York, 1827 to 1829. It's now a visitor centre, cafe and shop, and it is a Grade 1 listed building. The clock tower was built by Robert Adams. Now we move to the house. It was built in 1733 by the 4th Baronet Rowland Wynne, who employed James Paine to supervise the work in 1765. The 5th Baronet, also Rowland, employed Robert Adam to complete the work in the neoclassical style. The house holds some of the finest collection of Chippendale in the country, and it is a Grade 1 listed, handed to the National Trust in 1953. Some beautiful paintings. On this wall we've got Henry Tudor, and on the opposite side of the fireplace you have Elizabeth of York. In the first room we come to the doll's house. It is truly magnificent, built in 1730 by Susanna Wynne. The attention to detail is truly magnificent, and it gives a glimpse of the 18th century big manor house that this depicts. One of the most beautifulest and the grandest doll's house that you will ever see. Here's some information. As we move into the servants' quarters, on the wall in front of you is each bell which regards to each room where the lady or the lord would ring. The clock you see in front of you was made by a John Harrison who was born on the estate over 300 years ago. Here's some information you could read to find out more about this amazing guy. Here's a portrait of the man himself, truly amazing. As we move into the butler's pantry, as you can see on the board in front of me, the jobs that was had to be done and entailed by the butler and his footman on a daily basis. The household silverware was kept in a large safe under lock and key, which only the butler had the key for. All this had to be polished to put on the main table. We look up to the ceiling at this main staircase at Nostall Priory. Beautiful paintings and the carvery and the woodwork that goes into this. The staircase and the carpets, it truly is a magnificent staircase. Next place is the Great Hall. This hall was unfinished back in Robert Adams' time. As you can see, he's put his artwork into it, but it was never completed. Next is the breakfast room. This room was destroyed in 1980 by a fire, but was restored to Payne's original drawings. Next we move into the Crimson Room with its beautiful four-poster bed and its Chippendale furniture. To me, there's an overload of paintings in this room, but yes, I'm not a designer or an artist, but truly is a magnificent room. As we move into the state dressing room and its Chippendale furniture, this room is ordinary compared to the Crimson Room, originally done by Payne but was refurbished by Adam. Next we look at the state apartment or the state bedroom. This bedroom features 18th century Chinese wallpaper imported by the East India Company, so as a result it's kept quite dark so the wallpaper won't be damaged by light. It's a really dark room with its beautiful bed in the shape of a crown. Truly is a magnificent room with very minimal light. Next, we're in the state dining room. The 18th century hosted great feasts. The carpet is original and is over 300 years old. This photo shows you with the table in situ, but it's now been removed for cleaning. Unfortunately, I missed the name of this room, which has a beautiful ceiling and some wonderful paintings, but at the moment it is just a storeroom for the dining room next door. Now we are moving in to the tapestry room. Robert Adam designed in 1760s. The ceiling, plasterwork, decorations was completed in 1774. Charles Wynne, who inherited the house in 1817, started filling the room with Dutch tapestries. Now it's given its name, the tapestry room. It's truly magnificent and full of beautiful tapestries. Now we move into the library. This is a Chippendale table. The first room that Roland Wynne, the 5th Baronet, asked Robert Adam to create to show off his wealth and worldliness. It was redecorated for Charles Wynne in the 1820s. Now we move into the billiard room. The table dates from around 1785 to 1795. It's made of oak, deal, mahogany, baize, linen and brass. The table was moved from the lower hall by Charles Wynne in 1819. The room also holds books, making it an extension to the library. After leaving the interior of the house, I pan round and show you the exterior of this magnificent home here in Rugby near Wakefield. As a plane passes, we can truly dream about this lovely place that we've seen today. Before we leave, we've called into the Church of St Michael and Our Lady. Even though the church dates back to 1553, there's been worship on this site for many years before that. The church contains carvings of Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, which date back to 1553. While I was walking around the church, I had a very uneasy feeling. I didn't stay long. I made my way back to the car to end this beautiful day.
Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this one. It's something different for you. Trying to do something different for a change. So this is Nostall Priory. So keep trekking, trek on. Till next time. Do it again.
Don't want to get you shot. Sorry.
Ah, you're fine.